Please tell us your name, including your maiden name.
Eunice Miwako, and nickname Miko Shigekawa, maiden name Yoshimine now.
Your birth date?
8/23/28,
Where were you born?
Anaheim.
Where you live now?
Belinda.
Would you please tell us a little bit about your parents?
My father, he had a restaurant before he accepted Christ. Then he became a pastor. I forgot the first church. I think it was maybe Anaheim or, and anything else.
What was the name of your parents' restaurant?
I don't know. I know it was in San Francisco first, and then they were persecuted, so he came down to LA and had a restaurant.
So what was your father's name?
Yoshimasa Shigekawa.
And your mother's name?
Umeko.
Her maiden name?
I don't know.
Okay. How many siblings did you have?
I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Did any of them live in Anaheim?
David did, huh? My brother David.
What were your parents' occupations before the war?
Before the war, he was a pastor.
Where did your family live before the evacuation?
Let's see. Where did he live? Anaheim, and then they lived in Gallup for a while. He was a pastor, so he moved around. Gallup, Fresno. I think those 3 places.
So Gallup, New Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Phoenix, Arizona.
What was the role of religion in your family?
Free Methodist, Christian, whatever. How would you describe?
So in terms of for you, since your father was a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
so religion was basically your whole life?
Well, I was wishing that I could get to heaven because my father was a pastor, but I knew that I was not a believer until, I accepted Christ about 9 years old. In the early days, we didn't have Nisei pastors. We had missionaries from our denomination, and she's someone that led me to Christ.
How did people in Anaheim first react to the enforcement of the relocation order for Japanese Americans when you were growing up?
Let's see, where was I? Where were we at that time? Girl, we went in Anaheim. We was,
I believe you said you were in Arizona.
Arizona.
Because you lived on the side that got unturned where your sister was.
Okay, in Arizona. I had a sister there. So,
Did you know of any Japanese families who refused to evacuate since your sister lived on one side?
No, didn't know anyone.
How did your family feel about the government's directive to put you in camp?
They didn't say anything.
So how did your family feel about the U.S. government at the time?
I don't think they had. They just did what they were told to do. They didn't complain.
Were you surprised that no one around you stood up for your rights and said that you shouldn't go to camp?
No, I didn't even. Maybe I was too young to even think about it. For us, as young kids, in a way it was kind of fun.
So in terms of where was your family incarcerated during World War II?
Let's see. You know where our parents were?
You know, where did you go?
Oh, where did I go? I went to live with my sister in Arizona. She didn't have to go to.
So she was on the other side
Yeah.
of the evacuation.
Right.
So your parents and your other siblings, did they have to go to camp?
Well, I went too for a while, and then I left camp. I was there for 1 year, and then I went to live with my sister in Arizona.
So you were in Poston?
And then my family, they stayed in Poston. Some of my siblings were married already, so it was just my younger brother that went to live, they went to live in Gallup, New Mexico.
So which camp were your family in?
Poston one.
What were you allowed to bring into camp?
That I don't remember. I was too young.
Did you, when you had to leave here to go to, Arizona, New Mexico actually, was there anything you regretted to not be able to bring? So did your family own any property during the time?
No.
Can you please describe a typical day for you in camp? When you got up in the morning till you went to sleep at night?
Oh, I don't know, the thing that I loved the most was singing. I love music. And because they had, planned ahead of camp, they had everything all planned out, when, Singspiration and things like that. So it was it was a lot of fun to be with other children. And the men, they had a lot of fun playing softball and things like that. So it was
So for you, what time did you wake up in the morning? What time did you go to bed at night?
I don't know about way back then. Now I get up early, 6, 7 o'clock, and I go to bed about 9:30.
What was it like for you during the winter and summers?
Oh, summers were so hot. And,
Let's wait till
the buildings were not made too well, so, things would come through the cracks and the dust and things like that. And the heat was awful. It was really hot.
So were you able to have contact with people other than your sister outside of camp?
No, just my sister.
So do you remember special events or gatherings that you had in Poston that people would get together?
Well, the Singspirations. That was the most fun for me.
So in terms of Christmas or any holidays that people would get together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the church.
So the same question, did you go out of camp to go into town?
Not too much, maybe once. I really did. I went out just to pick some, work in the field, picking cotton. That's about it.
Did anyone else in your family go outside to work out of camp?
No, my brother went out to go to school. My brother above me.
Where did he go?
He went to, where did my brother go to school? Way back east. I forgot that. I didn't used to. Oh,
So anyway, were you getting news about what was happening during the war outside of camp?
No.
You were too young.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Oh, let's see.
So 1942.
1942.
14?
Not even that old, I don't think. I was about 9,
14.
She's a teenager.
14.
So in terms of kids from school, did you keep friendships with them once you left?
You know, it was really neat because in grammar school, I went, got acquainted with Caucasian in Arizona. And then when I came back, they were in high school. So I knew people that I knew in grammar school. So it was real easy to go back to that school, same school.
Did you keep friends in camp to this day, or they're all gone?
No. Maybe Sachi, just one.
But since Carl has mentioned that you've been going to a lot of the posting reunions, what have you learned by going to those reunions?
We haven't been to maybe a couple. We've only been to a couple, and that's been several years ago. We haven't had any recently.
But what did you experience during those reunions that surprised you? Well,
It was
no, in terms of you see people in camp and then you see them in present day, was there anything that surprised you or people that you saw that you hadn't seen for a long time?
there weren't that many people that I've seen from camp.
So there isn't much to say there.
No.
Did it seem bigger or smaller? Sometimes when you're a kid, a place seems so big, and you go back as an adult and you think, oh, it's so
Yeah.
small.
It was big.
Was it still big?
It was fun.
Did you think that the incarceration experience protected the Japanese citizens who were put in there?
I think so. The thing that I think about is because of the war, we were all scattered. If that didn't happen, maybe we'd all be in the Southern California.
There's some mention of people who went to camp that they were surprised to see so many Japanese in one place at one time. How did you feel?
It was good.
So before you went into camp, were you in communities that had a lot of Japanese Americans or Japanese people, or was it a mixed community?
Japanese, yeah. Kind of mixed, but more Japanese.
So for you, after your family left Poston, where did they go?
My father, being a pastor, he went to Gallup, New Mexico. And let's see, where did I go? I went to Fresno, because that's where my father went. I was in LA going to school and working for a while. Then I got homesick, so I went to Fresno.
What do you feel that you learned from your experience in Poston, and do you feel it changed your life?
Wow, that's a hard question. I don't know what to say. I I was in Fresno, right? I'd gone back to Fresno, and he was in Northern California, Berkeley, going to school, and then he would commute to Fresno. So that's where our relationship began. So I don't know what else to say.
Do you ever worry that another incarceration might happen again?
No.
Do you think things have changed before and after the war in terms of prejudice toward Japanese Americans?
I think so. I don't feel any prejudice. Maybe I was too young to understand what's. I never felt that,
So where did you graduate from high school?
Glendale, Arizona. I live with my sisters there.
So what was the name of the high school?
Glendale Union.
What did you do after camp, after you graduated from school?
I worked for our denomination, some of the people in ministry, secretarial work. And then in Fresno, I worked for CPA. That's about all the work I did.
When you started going back to work, did you feel any uneasiness because you were Japanese American?
No.
When did you first become involved with the Anaheim Japanese Free Methodist Church?
Practically all my life.
No, but the Anaheim Japanese Free Methodist Church.
There. I was born in Anaheim. My father was pastor.
But then when you came back and Carl was the minister for the church, how did you feel because your life had come full circle?
Oh, it was wonderful to get back there.
Did you feel things changed from the first time you were in Anaheim until when you came back? So maybe you can tell me a little bit about the Anaheim Japanese Free Methodist Church. I understand the first building was near La Palma Park, and then it went to Citron.
Right.
So can you tell me about the evolution of how it went from the first building to Citron to the current location?
Well, it was good when they went to Citron. It grew and grew, so they had to move to the location we're at now. So I'm glad that people didn't spread all over the place.
So basically, in terms of how would you think the congregation was at Citron? How many people were attending?
Oh, were you there at Citron Church?
Her brother was the pastor there when I started in the early 60s. I
I'm sorry, we can't be a more help.
But there was a standing location between the Long Park location and the Citron location. So it didn't go directly from, it wasn't always there.
This article was written in 1962 about your brother and about the Citron Church. So when did your brother start becoming a minister of his first church?
He's a savior.
Was it like his first church?
I think so. Yeah. I don't even have to speak to myself.
So I have to make a copy. see this, that there was a historic building survey, and it was done by the Orange County Japanese American Council, and your church was listed.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. When did that come out?
There's no year on this.
At the current location?
No, it's at the Citron location. So this was created. This was also created as history of the 65th anniversary of the Anaheim Japanese Free Methodist Church.
Oh,
So it looks like that your brother was appointed in 1960.
mm-hmm.
And it goes about the history. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship in terms of the Shigekawa family in Anaheim?
I don't know if I had an uncle, do you know William Shigekawa?
No.
Doctor at the Anaheim Memorial Hospital. Yeah, so he has a place on State College and La Palma. That's where he lives. It used to be an orchard. He's still, he passed away, but, so that's about all. Yeah, I was too young to know everything about Anaheim.
So, it has been a pleasure talking with you. Is there anything you would like to add to our conversation?
I don't think so.
Well, let me
Thank you.
No, let me ask you another question though. For you, what has it been like to be a minister's wife?
It's been a challenge. Sometimes I felt torn between, I was a secretary, and then I was his secretary for 42 years with no pay. And kind of torn between taking care of my kids and helping him. So, but it's been a good life.
What do you feel is, because you first were a daughter of a minister, and then a wife of a minister, how do you feel the experience has come full circle?
Oh. Well, I just feel that God has just been with me. I don't have any worries and fears. It's not always, easy, not always good, but just, I like the verse in the Bible that says God seems to rest with love. So, whatever we go through, He's there.
Since there's been a name change at the church, from Anaheim Japanese Free
Oh.
Methodist Church to Anaheim Free Methodist Church, for the older generation, how do you think people felt seeing the name changed?
I don't think they felt anything, do you, Carol?
I think the Japanese speaking side had a little issue with it because that's how they, the yellow pages, sometimes people look them up and decide to go because
Yeah.
it seemed like the time is right to change. I heard that there was another Anaheim Free Methodist Church.
Oh,
Which
Caucasian.
is why they added the Japanese to distinguish them. And then I think the other church doesn't exist anymore.
The other thing is that, why do you think the church first settled in Anaheim?
Because that's where we lived, I guess. Because it was in our house, the church in the beginning, so. That's
Like
right.
the first churches were home churches, so it goes beyond the buildings that you mentioned. It started in homes.
But for you to see your children now being grown and you're having a new life now living with Carol, is that what do you hope for the future?
I don't know. I just take a day at a time, I guess.